10 years ago, I had just taken command of HMCS Nanaimo, my first at-sea command, third woman in Canada to have command of a ship in the Canadian Navy. I was in the Middle East shortly after 9/11 happened. I was in Croatia. I've been in Norway. Like you said, I've been a whole bunch of places. Africa being one of those ones that really, really sticks out in my mind, and I did that about a year and a half ago.
I think one of the toughest things is to learn how to live with how you feel about what has happened. And some days that's a lot easier than others. And I think you can either let that pull you down into that black hole, or you can fight it. And for me, I choose to fight that, because I don't want to be lost in that black hole.
We're living as life was the perfectly normal. So perspective, 8 o'clock in the morning or around 8 o'clock, early coffee, a map holding the baby, looking around through the big window. We live in the new part of the city of Sarajevo. And I look through the window and I saw the sight that I never seen before. It was a soldier in a blue uniform. Now, it's a peace, no fighting. And there were 2 of them, actually. So holding baby, I turned to my husband and I said, well, come see this. And he came above me, over my shoulder, and he looked at that and he said, start packing and do it fast.
6 or 8 months into this, Andrew called me one morning and said, I've now moved to PEI, as my father would say, from one fishbowl to an even smaller fishbowl. And I was a single woman with 2 young children, and I was here alone, doing this thing, and made this giant leap. And my brother calls me one morning and says, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. So he had decided to exit the original company. And this was what was super exciting. He decided that he would try and negotiate the PEI company in his deal as he left, and he did that. And so we just started off again we had our maybe 11 or 12, less than 15 employees at that time. We rebranded as Other Ocean. We basically took it back to a family-owned and run business, which was what it was when Andrew had originally started it. And we grew it from there. Within the first 2 or 3 years, we had as many as 150 people by year 3.
So Alan and Jerry, I'm going to share with you the only piece of advice I remember my mother giving me. My mother is a wonderful woman, but she said to me once, she said, Vian, surround yourself with people who lift you up, because there are a lot of people in this world who want to pull you down. And I have surrounded myself with people who have lifted me up, and many times who have held me up when I needed to be held up. And I think that piece of advice has served me so very, very well.
You're a hero. And I tell you this every day. There's a greatness within her. And I would say that to everyone else. There's a greatness within you. Don't let anything take that out of you. We're all on this earth to do great things. And greatness doesn't mean you're impacting 1 million people. It could mean you're impacting your family or the people around you. But live your life living your greatness. Live your life living the purpose you're here on this earth. And just be your own hero.
Right. And I would have to say that you know, especially experiencing it now being with Mike, is living in the present, being mindful of everything, enjoy every mouthful of food, every sunrise, every sunset, really enjoy every moment of your life and be present in it.
You know, it was tough. The bank account was empty. The credit cards were racked up because that's what you do. But when you have a belief as an entrepreneur, you kind of stick to that belief because hope is everything. And, you know, it's the future ambition that will always fuel you. So even though it was pretty tough, teetering on, you know, well, my business was closed up. I was in debt over it. It was just, I had to move on. But this was a pretty major, exciting opportunity, and I think we were both able to really put our shoulders to that wheel and feel happy about it.
Be open-minded and be willing to learn, because it doesn't matter if you're in the Canadian Navy or you're a manager or a CEO of a company, because you're never done learning, and people will teach you things then you may not think at the leadership level. So everyone matters, but be open-minded and open your eyes and ears.
I think for me, one of the pieces of advice that I would give is ignore the noise. So there are lots of opinions out there. There are lots of people who will comment on what you should be or how you should do it or what you can be. And I think as women in particular, we really internalize that. I mean, if you hear things that talk about the imposter syndrome and some of the various things that that women tend to experience more so than men. And so it does take a lot of work, you know, whether you call that resilience, whether you call it just your positive self-talk, but to really ignore it. Like, I mean, I think about a perfect example.
And I was really inspired by it. So I stayed with Noya only 2 years and then decided to leave. And the day I put my resignation in, the head of Terra Nova project, which was a big oil and gas project, came to me. She said, "Come here, I need to talk to you." She said, "Don't go anywhere. I've got something for you." And with that, I started doing contract work with them immediately. I formed a partnership, and we pretty much owned most of the public relations, local content kind of business. And we built our company to about 12, 15 people, servicing primarily oil and gas related business. People, international companies coming into Newfoundland wanted to break in, and helping Newfoundland companies that wanted to get in as well.
You were a person at the age of 43 who were left with 3 children. It was difficult for us as children because we didn't necessarily want to deal with the seriousness of our lives. But I think it was hard for us because you were trying to rein us in at a time where you were left by yourself. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think, frankly, I've always said this to you, you should be incredibly proud of what you've done. You've raised 3 children who have careers. We have good careers. We've done well. We're thriving. And so I think, you know, Mom, you know, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, it's been hard. And I will say to anyone that watches this on Mother's Day, you know, the last, say, couple of years have been very difficult. You look fantastic, I'll tell you that, but the health issues are getting you down a little bit. And you know, I love you and I want everyone to know how much you mean to all of us.
That I have in me, and I think it's really important to never give up, like never. Like, no matter what happens, you can give up. That's something that and
keep looking for opportunities, because there are so many, and a lot of people think that when you're in the Navy, your opportunities are sailing, and they are fantastic, but there's so many more. I got to be a part of some of the training for the basic training in Fiji, where they had the first women in their country enter the Navy in basic training. So there are lots of frontiers. There's lots of things to do. There's you can do even more than you imagined. Keep looking for opportunities.
If you are told no, and I mean in any context, no, you can't play that sport. No, you can't take that course. No, you can't have that service provided at home because, or even just, no, you can't make that business work. Stop and think, is the answer actually no? And why is it no? Even just as much as being able to say, well, I took out a business loan from BDC and quit my job to go at this full time. That was hard. And at first it scared the shit out of everybody that is involved in my life, right? Especially since I'm a single parent. I've got 2 parents. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot riding there, and it got hairy. Let me tell you, there was a period of time when things were pretty scary looking. But I stuck to my guns. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was onto something. And at the end of the day, we were able to make it happen.
And I do feel that it's important to do something that you are very passionate about. Sometimes your job finds you. And that's something, again, maybe a part 2 to the advice. Because I know that young people, when they're starting out in a career, they're looking, oh my gosh, I need to find something that's, that I'm passionate about. But sometimes your job finds you.
If you have an idea, or if you have that entrepreneurial bug and you think you'd like to start something, do it. And I think there's never been a better time. As a province, we have lots of supports for entrepreneurs, whether that's in the tech sector or in a non-tech environment. There's loads and loads and loads of supports.
I would tell people to never judge. You really don't know what somebody else has been through or what they're living through. We need to be kind to everybody because we don't know that.
Someone told me this a while ago. So I have a background in journalism, so big on storytelling. And someone said to me, only you can tell your own story. And it's a very simple phrase, but it's very impactful when you start to think about it. We're going up against a very crowded industry, but we only have our story to tell. And our story is very different from everyone else's, and only we can tell it.
And I would say for me, and this advice came to me from Katie's dad. He said to me a long time ago, if you're going to start a business, make sure you have something that people need every day.
If you are feeling disengaged right now, whether it's you have a job that you're not happy with, whether it's kind of just a general dissatisfaction with life in general, know that you do have the power to change that. A lot of disengaged employees kind of throw their hands up in the air and say, well, it's the company's job to engage me. It's my manager's job to engage me. Actually, it's no one else's job to engage you. If you're not happy, if you're not feeling the engagement, what can you do to change that? How might you shift your perspective and change the way you're looking at things so you can feel more engaged with work, with life, with whatever it is you need? And if there's a voice in your head telling you something over and over again, it's time to start listening to that voice in your head, because they probably know what they're talking about.
We work at being patient and we work at being kind. And I think trying to keep those things in mind as we go through every day will help ourselves and help the people we are in relationships with or communicate with.
Be authentically you. And if you don't understand quite what that looks like yet, then do the work to get there. Don't try to fit a mold. Be you and be unapologetically you.
If you have an idea for something, to take a calculated risk. It's, take the risk. And if you're not going to take the chance on doing something, if you want to do something, then don't find yourself when you're 80 years old saying, I wish I had, or I wonder if I had. Because if you try and it doesn't work out, so what? What difference does it make? It's a corporate entity. It's a business. It's something that you tried. If you're not going to lose your house, your home, your family, and everything, and your soul, then it's okay.
Personality creates your personal reality called your life. And your personality consists of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And if you change how you think, how you feel, and how you act, you will change. You will be able to change your environment.
How do you go from getting a regular paycheck to that leap into your own? Just talk a little bit about that, because I think that's the inspiring part of this.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. But you realize perhaps that what you're doing for the paycheck isn't as fulfilling as what you envision for yourself or what you've built behind the scenes, and you're ready for that to be a thing. I also realized, and I'm very much a planner and an overthinker and all of these things. And I remember sitting down and thinking to myself, you know, like I don't have children, I'm not married, so if this all falls flat, there's inherently less risk for me, and I appreciate that. And so I look up to those people that have the families and the children and whatnot that have more to lose. So I knew that, okay, I can take the risk here in my life, and I know that if it perhaps doesn't go the way I want it to go, that I could potentially pick myself up. And so that's kind of one of those things that I thought, if I don't do it now, I never will.
For me, I'm not able to just do something to do it. I have to care about what I'm doing. I have to really believe in it and sort of have that passion. So for me, it's about, I call them these C's. It's about, you know, that, like I said, that care, that confidence, and just, and that courage to sort of be able to step outside of your comfort zone and to do things, I guess, a little differently. I mean, I'm in the sort of work that I do is very niche, for sure. It's not, you know, I'm not so sure it's something that you can just duplicate that sort of a career, but it's sort of about having that courage to be able to, like, you know, and believing in yourself to that you have those sorts of messages that you want to share, and where it's coming from. So for me, it's about these 3 C's. It's kind of about, like I said, that just caring and having that confidence and that courage to sort of kind of put yourself out there more. And I think when you take on projects that you care about, things just sort of fall into place.
Comes back to your network and you know, the relationships in your life and how they can contribute to business as well. You know, I suppose above all else, it would be to truly know your own why and really feel confident in telling that story. When you find your true passion and you live from a place of feeding that passion each and every day, you're going to inspire other people. So, you know, it's about surrounding yourself with people who are going to lift you up. You know, organizations, membership organizations like NLO and CHVA and all of these groups, you know, they exist for a reason. So surround yourself with people who not only get your why, but appreciate your why.
Like to just do it and start before you're ready. So you don't need to have it all figured out. That's actually like the point. Like you don't know what everything, you know, how everything's going to go, and not everything is always like fully in your control. There's external circumstances, but as long as you make that first step, take that first move, whatever it is, towards your goal, then you can't go wrong, right? Just like start before you're ready. Everyone has these things that they're like, when I get more money, when I have more time, when the kids grow up, when I, you know, buy a bigger house and have more space for an office or whatever, you know, then I'll do this, then I'll do that. Then I'll quit my job like that I hate so much. Like, you know, do it now. Like do the scary stuff now. Like that's where you will see growth and expansion.
It's a popular piece of advice right now, but I'm still going to use it. Be authentic. For a good portion of my early career, a lot of people felt the need to tell me who I should be. And it was often very well-meaning. Like there was no ill intent, but it wasn't always the best advice. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we're all at a place now, again, with this great resignation and with the people wanting to align their values with the work that they do and those sorts of pieces. We're all at a place right now where we really just want to be. We want to be authentic.
Advice. I'm always tentative to give advice because I find that free advice is often worth exactly what you pay for it, and people will tell you, oh, you should do it that way or you should do it this way, which often amounts to you should do it the way that I did it. But that being said, I have found what's been very effective for me is setting a goal. So I set a goal in a very explicit way, and I think about it often, daily, weekly, monthly. So I set a goal of having my PhD by the time that I was 30. I set a goal of leading a nonprofit organization. I set many goals, and I do so explicitly, and I think about them often. So I would say that one of the ways I was able to get to where I am in my career, which I'm very happy with where I am in my career, was by setting an explicit goal and doing something every day to work toward it.
I mean, the one thing for me personally, I mean, I don't really have regrets, but if I look back, I would have told myself to not worry so much and to have more fun and to enjoy the journey. As long as you have the right mindset, things will happen when they're supposed to happen. Opportunities will present themselves. You just got to recognize them and trust in that. So I definitely would have enjoyed the journey more, because I'm having an incredible time. We've got so many things to worry about. Right, we're a pre-revenue, pre-contract company. Lots of things to worry about, but we're having a ball each day, and I think things will fall into place as they need to. So that's pretty important. Just be humble and never stop learning.
So for me, I think it's surrounding yourself with the right people. Because no matter what, sometimes the work itself may not be the best. But if you surround yourself with positive people, it'll get you through that day. So for me, it's surrounding yourself with the right people and good people.
Go out and do it. Like, I don't know, you're never going to go experience stuff unless you go out and do it. And as you go and do your journey, you're going to make mistakes along the way. Don't be afraid to make those mistakes. Rather, learn from the mistakes and don't do them again.
Right.
Make it better.
Right. Make it better.